Hey guys, here's a quick look at the new Walkera QR X350. I finally got one in my hands, and it's pretty much the same size as the Phantom. It's very similar, but let's go back to the Walkera. This is not the Phantom. You can see we got layouts in the front, the silver, the red's in the back. So red, it's like a car, red tail lights. The red's gonna be the rear. It's got a cool looking, streamlined, futuristic body. The props are actually, pretty good. They're stiffer than the stock DJI Phantom props when it first came out. I'm not sure about the new props now, but these props are actually pretty stiff. You can see it's already plugged in. I already did the gyro calibration and compass calibration. I got the nice legs. They're a little bit taller and a wider stance, so that should prevent a lot of the tip overs. You got the compass on the bottom, LED light in the bottom. Or not even sure there's an LED light. I can't really see it because it's pretty sunny today. So I'm flying this with a Devo 7 transmitter. Now this thing is pretty tricky to get going, so you have to read the manual. Pretty much first off, you can see the mix switch, in the sun or in the shade, you can't really see it. The mix switch over here is going to be manual mode, and you can only start and take off in manual mode. When you flip it to the middle switch, that's GPS and altitude hold. And when you switch it all the way down, that's that one key go home feature, which I haven't tried yet. I don't plan on trying it because I have to feel more comfortable, flying the whole model, making sure it works before I actually do it. And that's pretty much it. To arm it's very easy. You just hold the stick all the way down. You go to the left rudder, and that green light on the left-hand side goes on. When you disarm the motor, you just got to go full right rudder with full throttle all the way down. And that's pretty much it to it. So compared to the Phantom, I would say the Phantom flies a little bit better than this one. But in manual mode, the Walkera QR actually flies like a traditional helicopter. It's actually very easy, very predictable to fly. So what I'm going to do now is put the camera down real quick, and I'm going to just take off and then fly with one hand and record with the other hand. So bear with me, guys. Give me 1 second. I'll just pause it right now. Alright guys, I'm back. So you have to take off in manual mode, and compared to the Phantom, the Phantom allows you to take off in altitude or GPS mode, which is really good for beginners. But so if you're stepping from a Phantom to the QR, you might get a little bit confused. You can see flying in manual mode is actually not that tough. It's like flying an RC helicopter. You have to be in control at all times. So I'm flying it right now with one hand and recording with the other hand. You see? You can see it's actually very smooth. There's a little bit of a soft spot with the sticks. So right now, let me bring it a little bit farther out. You got the sticks. See, I can move it, and you can see the Walkera quad just is not that responsive around the center stick. So there's a little bit of exponential already programmed onto the flight controller or the receiver or whatever already from the factory. So let me pause it and then switch into GPS mode. Alright, we're back, and you can see I'm in GPS and attitude mode or altitude hold right now. Switch is in the middle. You can see it holds pretty good. It does climb and drop a little bit more than the DJI flight controllers, but for the price of the Walkera quad, you can't really complain. You can see it's trying its best to hold trying to hold a consistent altitude. And the GPS seems to do a good job keeping it, locked in. It does drift off a tad bit, about 2 to 4 feet at times, you can see there. But it does hold really well. But the DJI Phantom or the DJI flight controllers has, wins over the position hold and altitude hold. You can see, I guess it's starting to get affected now. It's starting to do more of a slight toilet bow. Maybe I have to calibrate the compass a little bit more. But today is not the calmest day. I guess it's blowing about 5 miles an hour. The winds is blowing about 5 miles an hour. So you can see there, the Walkera QR X350 is, doing a pretty good job. Now, I'm going to try to fly it around with one hand. You can see there. So one thing I do notice when I'm flying this one is sometimes when I'm flying it, right? So if I'm flying in GPS mode and then I control throttle for any reason, it kind of surges up and down a little bit. So let me try to my best to do it with one hand. You can see there. So we're gonna climb. You can see it kind of did it right there. It cuts off real quick, so it's a little bit different than the DJI flight controllers. But it's got a lot of power for this little quad, you know, just barely punching out, it takes off like a rocket. So, I mean, I don't plan on flying any sport aerobatics or anything in the parking lot because it is concrete. And for the maiden flight, you know, it's I'm not that dumb to crash it. So there's a car coming. Let me bring it up. You can see, hovering over the car. Probably not the best spot to do the maiden flight of the Walkera quad, but you can see there. Altitude hold works very good. You can see I'm still in GPS mode. It drifts around a little bit. Not too bad. There's too many cars coming over here in the parking lot. I'm not sure why at this time, but that's why I'm having a little high. So let me pause the camera one more time. Alright, so I landed it. So just a brief overview of what I think about the Walkera QR X350. Let me disarm the motor real quick. Oh, wrong side. Rudder to the right. It's kind of like the multi-wii, except it's the reverse of the multi-wii flight controllers are right to arm, left to disarm, but the Walkera is the opposite. The Walkera quad actually flies pretty good. You have to take off in manual mode once again, so that could be a little bit tricky for some people. If you actually haven't flown RC helicopters before, if you're just somebody new looking to do like aerial photography or whatever, you might have a little bit of problems trying to tip over. So you have to take off in manual mode, bring it up to a nice hover, and then you can switch to GPS. That's when you have that GPS lock and the altitude hold. And it does get a little bit tricky at times. And if sometimes you might, for a beginner, you might flip the switch, you know, kind of all the way down, which is that one key go home feature. You might run into some problems there. So hopefully the next update or something like that from Walkera can actually move the one key go home to a different switch, or maybe even one of these switches back here like throttle hold or the flight mode switch, because the bad thing is if you switch, accidentally go all the way down, it's going to do that one key go home, it's going to come back home and auto land itself. I haven't tried it, so I'm not sure if it will actually go home compared to the Phantom. From what I heard, a lot of people had flyaways, but I haven't had it. But back to the Walkera once again. It's it's a pretty stable flying quad. Flying in manual mode is actually a lot easier than flying the DJI flight controller. Not sure if I mentioned that many times in the video already, but I'm very surprised at how stable this thing flew in manual mode. Ooh, motors are kind of quite warm for carrying no payload. Oh yeah, it is pretty warm. Today's about 80-ish degrees, so it's not even that hot, not even that cold, but the motors are actually, I would say they're about 120 degrees, 130, so I'm not sure how long these motors will last when you're carrying like a GoPro camera or even with a gimbal and a GoPro. So it's going to be a little bit more weight, but these motors are actually getting pretty warm already, so I wouldn't really feel too comfortable flying with my $400 GoPro on here just yet. Got to do a little bit more testing. It flies stable. To be honest, comparing to the Phantom and the Walkera, you get what you pay for. The Phantom hands down flies way better, but the Walkera is going to be a cheaper alternative for anybody who's looking to get something very similar performance. Now, is it a Phantom killer? I would say definitely no. It's not a Phantom killer. It's not a Phantom killer once again, but it comes very close. It's stable. It does its job, and I would consider this more of a hobby grade, just like the Phantom is more of a hobbyist type of platform to start off with. And yeah, hopefully I'll make another video soon. I'm not really sure because this video is already approaching 9 minutes, getting way too long. So I hope you guys enjoyed this quick little look and quick test flight of the Walkera X350. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys.